our previous lectures, we have started lesson number 5, temperature, and we have learned about the formation of thermal zones, important parallels and meridians. We have studied also. We studied about the heating and cooling of water through the experiment, right? And later we studied about the convection and vertical flow of heat. Okay, so now here today we are going to learn the remaining topic. Okay, the last topics which are remaining, we are going to study that today. So here children, we have studied this experiment, that is convection and vertical flow of heat. Okay, yes, we have studied about this, and here this topic was remaining. Okay, due to temperature differences, both upward and horizontal currents develop in the ocean. Okay children, see, we have studied from this example that the upward currents were generated in this water, and with that the buttons were also moving upward and downward. Okay, so the upward current was generated, right? So now here, so due to temperature differences, both the upward and horizontal currents develop in the ocean. In case of ocean, what happens? Both the upward and horizontal currents are developed. Okay, so besides temperature differences, factors such as winds and differences in the density of water. Density means what? Solidness, compactness. Okay, water, and also gives rise to the horizontal currents. Okay, yes, what happened? It gives what? It gives rise to the formation of horizontal currents. We know very well how winds are formed. From the region of higher air pressure to the region of lower air pressure, they travel from that. Okay, and from this winds are formed. So here, beside the temperature differences, as we know, this is one factor. Temperature differences is one factor. So similarly, like temperature difference, winds and differences in the density of water also give rise to the horizontal currents. Okay, these ocean currents flow from the equator to the polar region, and from the polar region to the equator. So see, from equator to polar region means from torrid zone to the frigid zone, right? And again from polar region to equator means from frigid zone to the torrid zone. So from this is how they are traveling. So this is how they travel from equator to polar region, and from the polar region to the equator. Now, when an ocean current flows from the frigid to the torrid zone, it reduces temperature of the coast in the torrid zone. Now see children, when an ocean current flows from the frigid to torrid zone we know very well, the temperature in that region is what? The temperature is very cold in that. Okay, it is very cool, right? It is cold. Okay, it is low. The temperature is very low in that region. Okay, so what happens? So when this ocean current flows from the frigid to the torrid zone, it reduces the temperature of the coast in the torrid zone. So the temperature of the coast in the torrid zone, what happens? That ocean current reduces its temperature. Okay, and when a current flows from the torrid to the frigid zone, right? When a current flows from the torrid to the frigid zone. Torrid means what? Temperature is what? Hot, right? Hot and dry, very hot and dry. Okay, so what happens in that case? Here, when a current flows from torrid to frigid zone, it increases the temperature of the coast in the frigid zone. Okay, in the frigid zone, what happens? The temperature in that region increases. Temperature of the coast increases in the frigid zone. Okay children, now moving ahead, we are going to study this. Okay, here we have in the last lecture I have shown you this map. Okay, this is the world map, and here they are the ocean currents. Okay, here you can see in the pink they are the warm ocean currents, and in the cold and in the blue they are the cold currents. Okay, they are the cold ocean currents. Okay, see, so from here, these warm currents, they originate from the equator. Okay, from the equator, and they move towards the poles. Okay, right, and these cold currents, these warm currents, they originate from the poles and they move towards the equator. Okay, see over here, here also they are originating from the polar regions and they are moving towards the equator. Okay, children. Now, moving ahead, we are going to study about the planktons. Now, what are planktons, children? They are the food for the fishes. Okay, what are planktons? Planktons are the food for the fishes. The region where warm and cold currents converge. Converge means what? They appear to meet. Okay, children? Converge means they appear to meet. Okay. Now, here, yes, they appear to meet at a point. Okay. So what happens? The region where warm and cold current converge or they meet are favorable for the growth of planktons. Now, what are planktons? Planktons are food for fishes. What are planktons? Planktons are the food for the fishes. Okay, like I have told you previously only. Okay. So now here, see, planktons, what happens? They are food for the fishes. So fish from other areas, they travel towards these areas in large numbers. Okay, see children, what happens? These fishes, what happens? These fishes, they move from their areas towards the areas where the planktons are found. Okay, see children, like for example, see, for our survival we need food, right? Okay, so in order to obtain food, what happens? We actually we carry out the task, we carry out the agricultural work and all. We grow crops and also in this way we are obtaining food. But in case of fish and all, what happens in the regions where the planktons are found, okay, where the planktons are grown, okay, the fish actually they travel towards those areas in large numbers. Why? In order to get their food, okay, in order to have their food. So they breed in warm waters. Breed means what? They reproduce in those warm waters. So due to the high concentration of fish population, okay, due to the high concentration of fish population in that region, fishes are found in more numbers. Okay, yes, so fisheries thrive well in these areas. Fisheries means what? Fisheries is the occupation or industry of catching fish. Okay, children, fisheries means the occupation or industries of catching fish. Okay, and thrive means what? Grow or develop in these areas. Okay, so see, as fishes are found in more numbers in that region, so fishing activity can be done in that region. Yes, so and the occupation or industry of catching fish can be developed in that region, right? So in this way, more number of fishes can be obtained from this region where the planktons are formed, and in that region fishes move, okay, in order to obtain food. Okay, children? Yes. Now moving ahead, we are going to study about the geography museum. Okay, now what is that? We will see. Now see children, there are number of methods of showing distribution on a map. Okay, we show what? We show different there are different methods of showing. Okay, showing various, like for example, in the we have studied in maps. Okay, that there are physical maps, there are political maps, and there are the thematic maps. Okay, yes, and what happens? There are also different methods are used to show any information or any data on the map. Okay, so one of these is what? One of these is isolines. Okay, they are what? Isolines. Okay, one of these are what? Isolines. Okay, now what are isolines, children? Isolines can be drawn using statistical information about natural factors. Statistical means there are the datas. Okay, there is a data, there is the information about those natural factors, okay, of any particular region. Isolines can be drawn using that data. So these lines are drawn on a map by joining all the points which are having the same value, right? Okay. So now, for example, if we are telling you that so and so region, okay, for example, if I'm giving example of 2-3 regions, okay, and they are having same temperature, okay, they are having what? Same temperature in that region. So what happens? With the help of these lines, we can show, we can point the values which are having this, which are actually having the same temperature. Okay, we can join the lines, okay, of all the points having the same value on the map. Okay, children, the distribution on regional or global level. See, regional means what? Small region, and global level means what? When we are discussing about countries, okay, various countries. Okay, so the distribution of regional or global levels can be shown using isolines of different factors such as height, okay, contour lines. Yes, we have studied in 5th standard about contour lines, children, right? Next is temperature. Those are what? They are the isotherms, okay? So these isotherms are the lines which give information about the temperature of a particular region, okay, or of a particular country. And pressure, air pressure are shown with the help of isobars, okay, and rainfall are shown with the help of iso heights, okay, children. So these are the different isolines which are used for showing, which are used for showing distribution on regional or global levels, okay, and we can use for different factors also. Now moving ahead, we are going to study this map. Okay, children, we are now going to study this map. Okay, here you can clearly see that this is the world map, which is giving information about the mean annual temperature. What is this, children? This is the world map, which is giving information about the mean annual temperature. Okay, so of the various countries which are shown on the map. So see, here it is what? Here it is giving the direction. This is north, this is east, this is south, and this is west. Okay. Now here, world map, mean annual temperature, that is in degrees Celsius. Okay. Now see, children, what we are going to study in this map is, we are going to study the annual temperature of various, okay, various countries, and they are shown with the help of isotherms. Okay, these are what? These are the isolines, children, various isolines. Okay, so isotherms are what? They give information about the temperature. Okay, they connect the places with the same temperature. Okay, yes. Now here, children, we will see that. Now let's see. Here we are going to consider. Now see, children. Here, considering the temperatures of various places, the maps of global distributions are prepared. Okay. So now see here, it is this figure 5.7 is drawn with the help of isotherms. Okay. See these pink lines. These are the isotherms. Okay. Isotherms are the line that connect places with the same temperature after avoiding the effect of height. Okay, children, they are what? They are the isotherms that connect the places with the same temperature, and these lines generally appear to the parallel. Okay, they appear parallel to the latitudes on the world map. Can you see? Aren't they parallel? These lines are parallel to the latitudes on the world map. Latitudes we know very well. Our important latitudes are what? Equator, Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle. So they appear to be parallel, to the latitudes on the world map. Now see, children, here we are going to observe. See, I have zoomed for you over here. We are going to observe the isotherm of 25 degrees Celsius in the map. Okay, so here can you see, this is the isotherm of 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, I have circled it. Okay, so this is the isotherm, children. Okay, this is the pink line. This is the isotherm which is showing the temperature of 25 degrees Celsius in the map. Okay, now here children, see. This line occupies areas close to the equator. See children, this is our equator. This is our equator, right? So this region is equator. So see, this line is occupying, they said what? This line occupies the areas close to the equator. Okay, they are what? They are close to the equator. The shape of this line appears like an ellipse. Okay, yes children, we know very well ellipse is what? Ellipse is kind of a, it is kind of a oval in shape. So here you can see very well this isoline which I have circled here. Okay, this is kind of a oval in shape. Okay, so now it appears like an ellipse. Okay, the north-south spread of this ellipse is greater on the continents as compared to the oceans. See children, what I'm telling you right now, the north-south spread, of this ellipse is greater on the continents. Okay, it is covering the area of continents more as compared to the oceans. Okay, the isotherm line occupies some parts of the continents of South Africa. Next is here some parts of Asia and some parts of Australia also. Okay, see, we are considering this isoline, okay, isotherm. Okay, so this region. Okay, children, it is there in your textbook also. You can observe it. Okay. Now, a very limited portion of the Pacific Ocean is covered by this isotherm. See, children, a very limited portion of the Pacific Ocean is occupied by this isotherm. See here also, very limited, small number. Okay, yes, in small quantity. Now, we will find two isotherms with the label of 0 degrees. Okay, children, see here, we can find here two isotherms with the label of 0 degree. Yes or no? Here in this region and here in the northern hemisphere as well as in the southern hemisphere, we can find the 0 degree, right? Yes. So now what happens here is, see, let's study this in detail. We are going to observe this isotherm of 0 degree Celsius. Now see children, the 0 degree isotherm from the southern hemisphere is largely straight and is parallel to the line of latitude. Can you observe this? This is our 0 degree isotherm, right? And it is what? It is straight, it is largely straight and is parallel to the line of latitude. Yes or no? It is straight and it is parallel to the line of latitude. Okay. And if we compare the same line, okay, if we compare the same value in the northern hemisphere, okay, is it straight children? No, it is not straight. Okay. In the northern hemisphere, it deviates. Okay. In the northern hemisphere, it deviates from the north-south. Can you observe it? How this line is? It is not same. It is not straight like in the southern hemisphere. It is deviating deviates from the north and south considerably. Okay. In the west, okay, in the west, what happens in the parts of the Pacific Ocean? Okay. Now see, here this is the west region. Okay, children, this is the west region. Now what is happening here in the west region? Okay, in the parts of Pacific Ocean. Here is our Pacific Ocean, right children? Now in the parts of Pacific Ocean, it is fairly straight, but when it enters the continent of North America, it turns somewhat to the north. See, when it is this 0 degree, what is happening? It moves towards the straight, but when it moves towards the North America, when it reaches the North America, it turns somewhat to the north. See, it is moving in the north side. See here, from here from 0, it is 0. It is moving. See, we are observing the 0 degree isotherm children in the north. So from here it is moving, and when it reaches here, when it reaches to the North America, it is moving towards the north side. See here in this region. Okay, so it turns somewhat to the north. Then the line proceeds eastwards. Okay. Now what happens later on? What happens? The line proceeds towards the eastwards. Okay. It moves towards the east side. Okay. Within a short distance after entering the Atlantic Ocean, here, see, after entering the Atlantic Ocean, okay, this region, this is our Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so now what happens here? It turns towards the northeast. Okay, it turns towards the northeast side. See, yes, in this part you will find that all the isotherms line turning towards the east, northeast side. See, they are turning, all the isotherms, they are turning towards the northeast side. This is because a warm ocean current is located in this area. Why they are turning towards the northeast side, children? Because a warm ocean current is present. It is located in this area. Further, after entering Eurasia, while moving, okay, while moving eastward, it turns somewhat to the southeast. Where it is moving? It is moving towards the southeast. See here, they are moving towards the southeast now, children. They reach towards the northeast and now they are moving towards the southeast. Still further in the Pacific Ocean, most of the isotherms lines appears moving towards the east as straits. So now this is again Pacific Ocean. Now they are what? They are they are forming, they are appearing as straight lines when they are moving towards the eastern side. Okay. Now here we are going to study the isotherms in the southern hemisphere as well as in the northern hemisphere. So first we are going to observe the isotherms which are in the southern hemisphere. Okay, children, the isotherms in the southern hemisphere are fairly parallel to the latitudes. See, they are fairly parallel to the latitudinal lines. Can you see here? They are fairly parallel. Okay, from South Pole to the Tropic of Capricorn, the distance between these lines is almost equal. Okay, so now see, from the South Pole, this is our South Pole. Okay, children, this region is our South Pole, right? Here from the South Pole, when it is moving towards the Tropic of Capricorn, this is our Tropic of Capricorn. These lines are what? They are almost equal, right? Their distance between them is almost equal. Okay, as the proportion of land in the southern hemisphere is limited. Okay, children, see what is happening here. What is happening? The proportion of land, okay, in the southern hemisphere is limited. Can you see here the portion of land, okay, the continents, they are very limited, only this much part. Okay, so the proportion of the land in the southern hemisphere is limited. The temperature in these parts are largely influenced by the latitudes. Okay, so the temperature, okay, the temperature in this region is going to be influenced by the latitudes only. Okay, yes, so our Arctic Circle and Tropic of Capricorn, okay, so it is going to be influenced largely by the latitude only. Now see, children, now we will consider our northern hemisphere. Okay, now we are going to consider the northern hemisphere. Here you can clearly see, as compared to the southern hemisphere, the proportion of land is more. Right here, see, the proportion of land is more. Yes or no? Yes? Okay. So now what happens here is, in the northern hemisphere, the distance between these lines varies. Yes or no? The distance between these lines, it varies. Children, see, it is not same. Okay, it is not, they are not straight like in southern hemisphere. It is varying. Somewhere it is very close to each other, somewhere they are away from each other. Okay, it is varying, it is not same. Okay, in this hemisphere, the proportion of land comparatively greater. Comparatively, it is greater as compared to the southern hemisphere. This affects the distribution of land. Okay, this affects the distribution of temperature in that particular region. Because of what? Because of the proportion of land is more in that region as compared to the southern hemisphere. These effects are seen in the various forms of variations in the distances between the isotherms. See, like I told you, okay, between the isotherms and the curved nature of these lines. They are forming curves, right? They are forming curves, okay? So here we have studied about the isotherms in the northern hemisphere and the isotherms in the southern hemisphere. Okay, now we will move to, towards our the last topic. Okay, towards our last topic, that is thermometer. Okay, children, thermometer. Okay, we know very well whenever we have fever and all, our body temperature, what happens when we have fever, our body temperature increases, right? Our body starts getting warm. Okay, our bodily temperature increases, right? So for measuring the temperature, we take help of thermometer. We use this instrument that is called as thermometer for measuring the temperature of our body, that how much temperature we are having, okay, to measure the range. Okay, so now here, children, there are different thermometers, okay, for using the temperature, okay, of various things. Okay, so now see here, different types of thermometers are used for measuring the temperature of air. Okay, so now see here, in this case we are measuring what? We are measuring the temperature of the air. Yes, because we want to know its temperature. Okay, so there are different types of thermometers used. Okay, now see here, children, here you can see this thermometer. Here I am showing you this red one. Okay, it is what? It is mercury or the alcohol, okay, which is present in the thermometer, which actually increases and decreases. Okay, so and it gives information about the range. Okay, so here see it, this is in Celsius and this is in Fahrenheit. Okay, these are the units which are used for measuring the temperature. Okay, now here see, this is the temperature scale, children. Okay, and here this is the vacuum glass tube. Okay, empty glass tube. Okay, in that the mercury or alcohol is present, and here this is the mountain. Okay, now this is a simple thermometer, children. Now let us study this in detail. Here the mercury or alcohol is used in the thermometers. The freezing point of mercury is about minus 39 degrees Celsius, whereas that of alcohol is minus 130 degrees Celsius. Okay, alcohol is what? Here it is a liquid. Okay, yes. So freezing point means what? Freezing point means what? It is below 0 degrees Celsius where it starts freezing. Okay. So the freezing point of mercury is how much, children? Minus 39 degrees Celsius. So at minus 39 degrees Celsius, mercury starts freezing. Okay. And alcohol, it starts freezing at minus 130 degrees Celsius. Okay. These materials are highly sensitive to temperature variations. Therefore, variations in temperature from minus 30 degrees Celsius to 55 degrees Celsius can be easily observed with the help of these materials. See, children, we can take help of these materials to verify, okay, to verify the temperature, okay, to verify the temperature between minus 30 degrees Celsius to 55 degrees Celsius. These are the materials, mercury and alcohol, which is used in the thermometers, okay. Yes. Now here, the units of measuring temperature are degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, it is what? Degrees Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. See, children, for measuring temperature, we use Celsius and Fahrenheit. And see, whenever we have any quantity, we use units for measuring it. Okay, so now see here, when we have to measure the weight, okay, of an object, we consider it is so and so kg. Okay, when we have to measure the length, okay, centimeter, meters, okay, volume meters, Okay, so we use such units for measuring any quantity. So when we are measuring the temperature, we use the units such as degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. So as shown in the figure, these are expressed as degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. The difference daily temperatures, maximum and minimum, okay, can be observed with the help of thermometer. Okay, children, we can measure the differences in daily temperatures, okay, maximum and minimum, with the help of thermometer. Air temperature, okay, children, for measuring the air temperature, we actually use Celsius. Okay, air temperature is measured in Celsius. Okay, so here our lesson number 5, temperature, is over. Okay, it is completed.